Okay, this is Fusebox number 138, Viralocity. And you may have just reached escape velocity.
But are slightly impeded by an oncoming train. A glorious and viral-free greeting to you all, friends, and indeed, welcome into this, the 138th edition of Fusebox, entitled Viralocity. And many meanings for this one, and we shall explore them all in a moment. But first, just to keep the record straight and the air minty fresh, I'm your faster-than-light but slower than a guilty verdict in the Senate host, Mark Rose, and joining me over there amidst the blinking bells and the honking lights is the Reverend of Relays himself, Milt Keynes, everybody.
Thank you kindly. So I guess we have another pandemic panic.
Yes, we do. It's definitely not to be kidded around with. But I don't know what it is, but we seem to have, well, the news media certainly does, a fascination with the pandemic potentials in this society. Every damn third movie these days starts with the synopsis, in a post-apocalyptic society, after a great plague, a big war, or invasion of the giant mantis aliens.
Well, now that one's real.
Yeah, remember SARS?
Yeah, that's what this latest coronavirus thing is, right?
Well, yeah, severe acute respiratory syndrome. Yes, it's a cousin to that thing, but interestingly, they're not using that acronym to describe the latest blast, right? At least not in the vast public disclosures. It's just called a coronavirus, and there are many of those. It might have been called the Wuhan variant. Sounds like a Robert Ludlum book, doesn't it?
One man on a timeless quest for nasal relief. This time, he had to get it right.
Well, I don't know here. Is this the one? Here.
The wrong choice could mean eternal suffering.
Oh my.
The Wuhan variant.
Coming to a nasal passage near you.
So, few folks have died from this latest one.
Yeah, there have been over, I guess, well over now, 3,000 reported cases and more than 60-some deaths so far, mostly in China, I believe.
Yeah, let's see, UPI reports that the rush to buy face masks is heating up, but not really needed yet.
Well, here's the thing. The truth is that each year, when we're not having a pandemic, about 300 deaths are attributed to influenza.
What? Man, I'm seeing numbers like 3,000 to as high as 500,000 in one case.
Yeah, and here's why. It's extremely difficult to separate flu-like symptoms from the actual flu. And most data that is accurate is collected from the death certificates that attribute influenza as the direct cause of death. So, without lab tests, it's nearly impossible to certify the actual cases. So many times, illnesses that present as flu-like can be lumped in with those actually certified as a flu-related death. Hence, the numbers go through the roof.
Yeah, I'm sure the news media at times would just leap at the biggest number to grab eyes.
Well, yeah. And at times that really is the case. Remember the chicken flu?
Oh, yeah.
Well, and believe me, it's not to dismiss the seriousness of the illness, but you just really have to put all of this into a perspective. Understand that about 35,000 people die in automobile accidents each year as well.
So, if they died in a flaming car wreck while having a flu, is that like extra points?
The mind boggles at the possibilities there, Mr. Keynes. There was a reported case in Washington State, which is not far from us here in Oregon, but I don't believe it was fatal. And at least at the time that we're recording this, none have been reported in the state of Oregon here. It can be treated, but, again, if you have a condition of compromised immune system or something like that, you might be more susceptible to this. But it's not a plague, as some will no doubt try to make it.
Now, a lot of these things can be prevented from a vaccine, yeah?
Well, some. I'm not so sure about the more virulent forms of this virus, though. It's really mixed on the vaccine front. As on occasion, it actually can make a person more sick as opposed to just getting the damn flu.
Well, there is also the idea that some of these vaccines might have other stuff in there, like behavior modifiers and shit.
Yes, I've heard that, but I can't say for sure. But I'll tell you what, Mr. Keynes, next time I have access to one of those vaccines, I'll just run a quick chemical scan.
Just saying.
Just good to keep our eyes wide open on this front, friends, as we don't know what the thing will bloom into for or for how long. The cases in China are going to be heavy, probably due to population density there. But as they said in some report I read a while back, that there have been like 23 countries have reported cases of this thing as well. So it's going to be a contagious mess for a while, but we just need to keep a grounded perspective on it. It's not the plague.
No, we already got one of those. It's called stupidity, and it seems to be infecting the minds of the GOP.
Yes, and I think the only treatment for that is found in the voting booth.
Pine-scented. I like that.
TheFuseboxShow.com.
From PR News in Washington, I'm an oddball because I'm hacking government computer systems. President Donald Trump did indeed interfere in the 2016 presidential election.
President Trump is a Putin. Trump now says he spoke. Trump also says aggressively. Last week, the president's intelligence chief warned that, quote, PR News, Washington, again.
President Trump must have something on President Trump.
In other news, many scientists are alarmed by the Major League stars for the All-Star Game.
Star Washington, star Texas, star teenager. PR News has been declining in popularity, especially among younger fans.
Many scientists and doctors agree.
On Capitol Hill, the Republican leadership says Trump. The Dow 55, 2519. Around Jupiter, a team of astronomers say this is PR.
The nearly historic and also famous LeMur, friends. And you should check out his bounty of insanity at archive.org. It's fun.
Oh, and just to follow up for a second on this virus thing, you know who else is going to be hit hard?
Oh, do tell.
The liquor industry.
Really? Man, I think people would be drinking more to fight off the contagions.
Yeah, they would, if they could get it.
Oh, yeah, I see where you're going.
Yeah, so according to U.S. News, the liquor industry expects a big kick to the profit sack because of the China deal. Last time this happened, in 2003, during the SARS thing, Diageo the world's largest distributor of spirits, saw a 23% dip in profits during that cycle. For a company as big as they are, 23% is bad news, man.
Yeah, it can't be a good thing.
Of course, they sprang back afterwards, of course.
China makes up how much of their market?
Only about 5%, it turns out. Remy Martin, the other big player, says that China makes up about 20% of their market.
Yeah, that's a significant number. I mean, if you can't get stuff delivered because of a quarantine situation, then you're going to have some tough times.
The other thing to bear in mind here is that the market size in 2003 was considerably smaller then, so their actual hit may be bigger this time.
Yeah, good times. Good times. Well, you know, there is another aspect of viralocity that needs to be addressed, and that is... probably the more obvious one, the speed by which information, or most notably disinformation, can travel. People's careers have been destroyed from a single tweet.
Or some asshole's remark can start a riot.
Indeed. Yeah, I mean, and case in point, some alt-right groups have used that very technique to incite violence, or at least stir the waters for it. A smear campaign can be devised and then propagated so much more quickly now due to all of the social media interconnectedness.
Yeah, this is kind of why I resist it, to be true.
The vile smear campaigns leveled at you, Mr. Keynes?
Oh, hell no. I'd welcome that. It's the other crap. The Tom just made a tuna sandwich alert. Or poke, or whatever the hell it is. Popping up every damn second.
Well, you know you can turn that stuff off, right?
Yes, I can. By not going there at all.
Well, that's one way to do it, I suppose. Along the same lines of this alertinessment and the speed of information in our modern society is these damnable homebots. Actually, surveillance devices masquerading as helpful personal assistants.
Oh, you're talking Alexa and whatever the hell the Google one is.
Yes, you know what? They should just call it Eavesdrop, as that's what it is, and that's what's happening, friends. You know, we talked about this phenomena once before on a show or nine back, but recently, an article in USA Today by a chap named Jefferson Graham did a little digging into what we were talking about back then on that show, that these assistants are helping themselves to your conversations. And not just when you wake them, but all the time. The minute the infernal thing is plugged in. You know what I'm saying? Now, in Alexa's case, there is no way to totally delete the recordings it's making of you. Not on the device, nor in the app that gives you access to the security features. Why? Well, Amazon says voice recordings are used to improve the accuracy of your interactions with Alexa. Deleting voice recordings associated with your account may degrade your experience or our inability to harvest your data.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, well, according to Mr. Graham's article here, Amazon does offer two very minor voice commands to erase the audio by saying, Alexa, delete what I just said, or delete everything I said today. But Amazon will still have transcripts from at least 3 months of your recordings, unless you go in and manually get rid of them.
What?
Yeah. Continuing on here, once you do that, Amazon urges you to reconsider. Deleting your voice recordings may degrade your experience, actually our experience. Are you sure you want to proceed? Amazon gives you the option of automatic deletion, but only for every 3 months or 18 months. We don't keep data for data's sake, Amazon Senior Vice President Dave Limp told USA Today. We're very convinced that by keeping this data, it improves the service materially. Well, it certainly improves their material.
Just who the hell is monitoring this stuff? Are they like those meatheads at Ring, the video doorbell cats? You know, those towheads were caught yucking it up over customers' video saved on their cloud, for Christ's sake.
Well, as it turns out, Amazon now owns Ring, so you could be right there.
Great.
Yeah. I think you and I talked a while back, it was a year or so ago, about some technology that Google was playing around with that could snoot the background sounds coming from an inquiry. For instance, when you say, "Hey, Google," and ask for something, this software was supposedly sifting through the background ambience to determine what was going on there, pick locators or certain sounds, and then based on that information, compile ads to position for you based on your surroundings.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that. That's just fucking creepy, bro.
Doesn't give me warm fuzzies.
Especially if you're hanging out at Pinchy's all-leather emporium and fetish carnival.
Especially that. So Google has another creepy zone as well. Quoting the USA Today article, Google Assistant goes beyond the home speaker line to be an integral part of the Android smartphone platform, and a feature on many devices from the Nest thermostat all the way to Lenovo smart displays and so forth. The recordings go way beyond just using the Hey Google wake word. Google manually tracks every search you make via your typewritten keyboard clicks, as well as every word uttered into many Google apps, and even Google.com for voice commands. Continuing on here, so when we opened the Google Assistant app on the iPhone this week and said, "We are told that Google only records you if you first use the wake word," then how to explain this, huh? Every word was recorded and stored. We played it back and listened. And continued on the Google app on an Android Pixel phone and Google.com on an Apple MacBook Pro. The results didn't change. We were recorded every time. Google advises why it wants to record you, quoting, going to sound familiar, friends. The activity that you keep can improve your experience anywhere you use your Google account, the company says. What you search, read, and watch can work together to help you get things done faster, discover new content, and pick up where you left off. It says the audio and voice tracking is, quote, opt-in only, but it uses strong, persuasive wording to convince you to give it the okay, because otherwise your experience will be, quote, limited, according to Google.
Yeah, make mine limited. Make mine off.
Seriously. I don't think the experience is getting better for us. It is getting better for them, though. With all the additional info that they're gathering about not only our personal preferences, but where you go, when you go, how many times you go, and with whom you went, and so forth.
See, this is how it works, man. They introduce a technological marvel, right? Make it real shiny so people can't live without it. And the whole time, you're quietly giving consent to be data scraped upside down and backwards.
A case could be made for that, man. I mean, sometimes I think things are created without that intention, but lately, I don't know. Apple, too, is involved in this, a little differently, of course. Continuing on here from the USA Today article, Apple uses its alternative stance on privacy as a marketing tool. It doesn't urge you not to delete the recordings, like Amazon. In fact, it doesn't even automatically record your interactions with Siri. The company says you need to volunteer. Users can opt in to help Siri improve by learning from audio samples of their requests, Apple says. Unlike its rivals, Apple will make you work to volunteer. Within the general settings under Analytics and Improvements, Apple offers the ability to, quote, help improve Siri and dictation by allowing Apple to store and review audio of your Siri and dictation interactions by clicking the feature on. By default, it's turned off. By opting in, the users may be monitored. A small sample of audio from Siri requests may be reviewed by Apple employees to measure how well Siri was responding and to improve its reliability. For example, did the user intend to wake Siri? Did Siri hear the request accurately? And did Siri respond appropriately to the request?
Yeah, sounds legit on the surface. At least they make you opt in, rather than just taking the damn thing over completely and having the user figure out how to get the thing to stop.
Not optimal. Don't care for it myself and won't have one of those things. You know, I'll tell you though, I have been looking at those video doorbell things lately.
Well, you know, you actually could use one of those things. I mean, working way down here in the basement, I don't know how you even hear the door.
And case in point, I can't. Especially if I'm in the booth here. Forget about it. So something like that would be a great assistance. So I've been researching them, and they all seem to have one annoying thing in common. Except one company, and I'll get to that. Most of these video doorbells record doorway activity to the cloud for later retrieval.
That they charge you for.
That's right. And you know what? For a guy that never answers the door, you sure know a lot about these gadgets.
Yeah, well, I do read.
Good on you. So I looked into these things and found that both of the major brands, Nest and Ring, both owned by Amazon and Google, respectively there, all have this cloud arrangement thing, and you have to pay a monthly subscription fee to access your footage, as we said. Well, sir, I don't want to pay a dime to view footage, and I also don't want to have it residing in some cloud somewhere being remotely accessible to a host of voracious tech vermin.
Fair request.
Yeah, I think so. So, enter this company called Nelly's Security. Now, I don't really know a whole lot about them. They seem to be in this biz. They offer a lot of things like this. These folks have a doorbell configuration that employs a mini SD card port that you can store the video as you wish and as much as your card will hold, which these days can be more than adequate to cover average needs. It's also motion sensitive and has a 3-megapixel camera that looks very good, especially when you compare it with the Ring and Nest models. So I may go in that direction.
You still got that Wi-Fi connection, though, right?
Well, yeah, and you kind of need that to communicate with the person at the door or see the video.
So the security is only as good as your Wi-Fi is.
True. To me, though, as long as there is no semi-authorized data snooting going on, like cloud, quote, monitoring, I'm willing to cut the security risk thing a bit of slack there.
Yeah, I still think it's better to just not answer the damn door. But whatever works for you.
Yeah, I'm just not ready to go full recluse. Just yet.
No time like the present, though.
I'm close.
Okay.
I know. Misery loves company and all, but...
Oh, I'm not miserable. Matter of fact, I'm downright content, bro. And I want to stay that way. So any sales creatures that come to the door will be met with silence. Or a shovel to the face if they're cocky.
Good to know. Remind me to call first if I plan to stop by.
Will do.
Good deal. No, I do agree with you on the tech front, though. We are increasingly given more and more opportunities to be monitored, disguised as a modern convenience. What did Noam Chomsky call it 100 years ago? Manufacturing consent?
Was that dwarf in Game of Thrones?
No. Noam Chomsky, the linguist, philosopher, and activist guy, he wrote this book back in 1988 called Manufacturing Consent, in which he and his co-author Edward Herman posited...
There's that word again. I think we should give it
Oh, sure, why not? They posited, quoting, that the mass communication media of the U.S. are effective and powerful ideological institutions that carry out a system-supportive propaganda function by reliance on market forces, internalized assumptions, and self-censorship, and without overt coercion.
Oh, like Fox News.
Well, yeah, all of them really, though. That idea of objective reporting these days is becoming virtually extinct, from what I can see.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes when I'm, watching a news segment, I wonder, is this an editorial? Because the anchor there just went off on a frustrated tirade for about 8 minutes with no actual middle ground perspective at all. No opposing viewpoints. Seriously, lately I find that the BBC World Service to be far more impartial when covering the U.S. news than anybody else. Virtually no detectable agenda or stacking the story in a particular way that I found.
Yeah, they got their own shitstorm to deal with.
Oh, you mean the Brexit thing?
Yeah, seems about as divided politically over there as it is here now.
Yeah, it's really all over the globe. I mean, we have a bunch of crazy, hair-on-fire oligarchs running key countries in this present timeline, and it's really alarming in many ways.
Seems to be contagious, too. Kind of like a virus.
Masterfully done, Mr. Keynes. Bringing the whole thing back around like that? Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's why I get the big buck.
Indeed you do. But I think that one's getting away, though. And on that, whatever it is you call that sound, we'll take our grass-fed rhinovirus and its handy test kit, complete with thermometer and zircon-encrusted tweezers, and squeeze sideways between the door frame, but not before thanking our contributors to this edition of Fusebox, Aaron Lane and Fernandinende LeMur, for making this a virtual clean room of audio splendor. Thanks to the disease-free manipulations of the Doctor of Dials himself over there, Milt Keynes, for technical assistance and so forth.
Pleasure as always.
And, of course, where would we be without you, friends? So thanks to all that have braved the untamed frontier of podcast hostilities to find us, and then to push play out of a deep fearlessness and zest for the unknown. If you have not otherwise done so, please subscribe to this humble audio offering, and maybe even hit the little like thingy, or perhaps give us a 95-star rating. That would be so grand. Truly. I have been your skating in a petri dish while whistling the theme to Sanford and Son host, Mark Rose, saying, until our next cartoon.
Fuse.